You made a budget, you're tracking your spending, and you might even have a fancy app for it. But when the end of the month rolls around, you're still staring at your bank account asking that same old, frustrating question: where did all my money actually go? You feel like you did everything right, but the numbers just don't add up. Here's the secret: the problem isn't your budget, it's the invisible costs and financial landmines that are secretly draining your wallet. Today, I'll show you the biggest hidden expenses you are not tracking and how you can finally take back control. Problem expansion: it's an infuriating feeling, isn't it? That sense that your money just vanishes into thin air. You cut back on the big stuff. You say no to major purchases. And yet, you're no further ahead. It feels like you're on a financial treadmill, putting in all the effort without moving an inch forward. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the stress and anxiety that come with a budget that feels like a lie. It's that constant low level worry that you've missed something, that one unexpected bill could throw your entire month into chaos. You're not bad with money. You've just been fighting an invisible enemy. Today, we're going to turn on the lights. The good news is, once you can see these hidden costs, you can control them. This isn't about extreme penny pinching or giving up everything you love. It's about awareness. It's about understanding the subtle, often psychological traps that modern life sets for our wallets. We're going to walk through the five biggest categories of hidden costs, from the tiny leaks to the massive financial bombs. By the end of this, you'll have a new way of looking at your spending, a framework to plug those leaks, and a real plan to protect yourself from the financial shocks that used to derail you. Section 1: the death by a thousand cuts. Your daily spending leaks. The first, and maybe the most sneaky hidden cost, is what I call death by a thousand cuts. These are the tiny, seemingly insignificant expenses you barely notice, but all together they bleed your budget dry. Think about your morning coffee, that afternoon snack, the delivery fee you paid because you were too tired to cook. Each one is just a few dollars, right? Harmless. But what's a $5 a day habit? That's over $1,800 a year. Suddenly, not so harmless. But the real monster here is the subscription culture, from streaming services and gym memberships you hardly use, to software trials that auto-renewed without you noticing. These recurring payments are designed to be forgotten. This isn't just about money. It's about intention. Are you actively choosing to spend this money every month, or is it just leaking out of your account while you're not looking? A quick audit of your bank statement can often uncover hundreds of dollars in annual savings just sitting there. Section 2: the pantry paradox. Just in case costs. The second hidden cost lives right in your kitchen. I call it the pantry paradox. This is the money we lose not on what we buy and use, but on what we buy just in case. You go to the grocery store with a list, but then you see a buy one, get one free offer on something you don't really need. You grab it because, hey, it's a deal. You buy the giant bag of avocados because it's cheaper per unit, even though you know half will turn brown before you can eat them. This is where good intentions meet financial waste. We overbuy to save money, but we end up throwing that money straight into the trash. Making this worse is the silent budget killer: inflation and its sneaky cousin, shrinkflation. We all remember the crazy grocery inflation of 2022. While the annual rate has slowed down since then, the high prices have stuck around. At the same time, have you noticed your favorite bag of chips feels a little lighter? That's shrinkflation. You're paying the same price, or even more, for less product. So that weekly grocery bill you've budgeted for is constantly under pressure. You're getting less for your money, and the extra you buy, intending to be frugal, often ends up as food waste. This takes a shift in mindset. The best deal isn't the one with the lowest unit price. It's buying only what you will actually use. Section 3: the invisible bills. Fees, premiums, and creeping costs. The third category is the most invisible of all, because these are expenses you technically know about, but you probably underestimate or forget to budget for completely. These are the bills behind the bills. I'm talking about things like bank fees, credit card interest, and the slow upward creep of your insurance premiums. Homeowners feel this one big time. The average US homeowner pays around $4,316 in property taxes and another $2,267 in home insurance every single year. That's over $550 a month that has nothing to do with your mortgage payment, And then there's maintenance. Oh, the maintenance. Financial experts suggest setting aside 1% to 4% of your home's value each year for upkeep. For a $400,000 home, that's between $4,000 and $16,000 a year. These costs are invisible because they're not consistent. Property taxes might be paid twice a year. Your insurance renews annually with a slightly higher premium you just accept. A plumber might visit only once every 2 years, but they are real, predictable expenses that aren't part of your daily spending. If you're not actively putting money aside for them in a sinking fund, they will always feel like a surprise attack on your budget. Section 4: The social tax, the price of a social life. This one is emotionally charged. We are social creatures, and connection is vital for our well being. But there's a real tangible cost to having a social life, and almost no one budgets for it. I call it the social tax. It's the birthday gifts for coworkers. It's the wedding you have to fly to. It's your friend group insisting on trying that expensive new restaurant every Friday night. It's that unspoken pressure to split the bill evenly when all you had was a salad and a water. Each of these feels like a one-off, so we don't put it in the monthly budget. But they're not one-offs. There is always another birthday, another dinner, another celebration. This isn't about becoming a hermit. It's about admitting that socializing is a real spending category, just like groceries or gas, by not budgeting for it. We create a false choice: either overspend and feel guilty, or say no and feel isolated. The solution is to be honest about what you can afford. Set a realistic social fund for the month. This empowers you to suggest more budget friendly activities, to be upfront with your friends, and to join in without sabotaging your financial goals. It turns a source of stress into something you can actually control. Section 5: The financial bombs, surprise expenses that wreck budgets. This last category is what keeps people up at night. These aren't leaks. They're financial bombs, the huge, unexpected expenses that can destroy even the most carefully planned budget in a flash. The average car repair costs between $500 and $600, but a major issue like a transmission failure can easily run into the thousands. These events are the ultimate test of your financial resilience. And here's the scary reality. As of recently, about 56% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency, and about 37% can't even cover a $400 surprise bill. This means for most people, a single financial bomb doesn't just disrupt their month, it sends them deep into debt. It forces them onto high interest credit cards or loans, turning one crisis into a long term financial burden. These aren't just possibilities. Over a lifetime, they are certainties. The only question is when they'll happen. The solution: your three-layer financial shield. Okay, we've seen the enemy: the leaks, the paradoxes, the invisible bills, the social pressures, and the financial bombs. It's a lot, but knowledge is power, and now we can build our defense. It's not one complicated system, it's a simple three-layer financial shield. Layer 1 is the monthly audit. This is your defense against the thousand cuts. At the end of every month, take 30 minutes. Don't judge, just look. Scan your bank and credit card statements. Where did the leaks happen? Cancel subscriptions you don't use. Question the impulse buys. This simple habit makes the invisible visible and is the first step to plugging those small, constant drains. Layer 2 is the sinking fund strategy. This is your shield against invisible bills and the social tax. You know property taxes are coming. You know you'll need new tires eventually. You know birthdays and holidays happen every year. Instead of letting them be a surprise, figure out the annual cost of these predictable but infrequent expenses, divide that total by 12, and automatically transfer that amount into a separate savings account each month. Now, when the bill arrives, the money is already there, waiting. It's no longer an emergency. It's just an expense you planned for. Layer 3 is the emergency fund. This is your bomb shelter. This is the most critical layer. It's non negotiable. Your emergency fund is for true, unforeseen crises only: a job loss, a major medical issue, an urgent home repair. The goal is to have 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses tucked away in a separate, easily accessible high yield savings account. It's a big goal, but you start small. Automate a transfer of $20, $50, or whatever you can afford each payday. The amount is less important than the consistency. This fund is the wall that stands between an unexpected event and financial disaster. Conclusion and call to action. For too long, you've been fighting a financial battle with one hand tied behind your back because you couldn't see all the forces working against your budget. Now you can. You see the slow leaks from subscriptions and impulse buys. You see the hidden costs of food waste, invisible taxes, and social pressure, and you see the looming threat of financial bombs. But you also see the solution: the monthly audit to stay vigilant, sinking funds to plan for the predictable, and the emergency fund to brace for the unpredictable. Building this shield isn't about deprivation, it's about control. It is about taking the power back from the hidden forces that drain your wallet and your peace of mind. You can do this. It starts today. What hidden cost surprised you the most? Was it the subscriptions, the home maintenance, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments below. Let's share our stories and learn from each other.